Hey, this is a video in a playlist that's probably going to be really long, okay? Holiday playlist. This is on first fruits. Starting off with Ezekiel. I think it's this one. Ezekiel 48, okay? All right, so Ezekiel 48 is called the division of the land. This is the list of tribes. In the far north, by the way of Hethlon to the pass of Hamath, to Hazar Enon, with the frontier of Damascus lying to the north, marching with Hamath, the land from the eastern frontier to the western frontier, Dan one portion, bordering Dan. From the eastern frontier to the western frontier, Asher one portion, bordering Asher. From the eastern frontier to the western frontier. Naphtali one portion, bordering Natalia. From the eastern frontier to the western frontier. Mansia one portion, bordering Mansia. From the eastern frontier to the western frontier. Ephraim one portion, bordering Ephraim. From the eastern frontier to the western frontier. Reuben one portion, bordering Reuben. From the eastern frontier to the western frontier. Judah one portion, bordering Judah. From the eastern frontier to the western frontier. Is the part you are to set aside, 25,000 cubits wide, and as long as each of the other portions from the eastern frontier to the western frontier. The sanctuary will be in the center of it. The part you must set aside for the Lord is to be 25,000 cubits long and 10,000 cubits wide. This consecrated portion is to belong to the priests, being on the north side. 25,000 cubits on the west side. 10,000 cubits wide on the east side. 10,000 cubits wide on the south side. 25,000 cubits long. The sanctuary of the Lord will be in the center of it. This is to belong to the consecrated priests, to those of the sons of Zadok who maintained my liturgy and did not go astray with the straying Israelites, as the Levites went astray. And so their portion is to be taken out of the most holy portion of the land near the territory of the Levites. The territory of the Levites, like the territory of the priests, is to be 25,000 cubits long, 10,000 wide, the whole length being 25,000 and width 10,000. And it will be illegal for them to sell or exchange any part of it. And the domain can never be alienated since it is consecrated to the Lord. As regards the remainder, an area of 5,000 cubits by 25,000, this is to be for the common use of the city. For pastures, houses, the city is to stand in the center. Here are its measurements. On the north side, 4,500 cubits. On the south side, 4,500 cubits. On the east side, 4,500 cubits. On the west side, 4,500 cubits. And the city pastures are to extend 250 cubits to the north, 250 to the south, 250 to the east, 250 to the west. One strip contiguous to the consecrated portion must be left over, consisting of 10,000 cubits to eastward and 10,000 westward, marching with the consecrated portion. This will bring in a revenue for feeding the municipal workmen. The municipal work people are to be drawn from all the tribes of Israel. The portion is to have a total area of 25,000 cubits by 25,000. You are to allocate a quarter of the sacred portion to form the city. What is left over shall be for the prince on either side of the sacred portion, and for the common land belonging to the city, marching with the 25,000 cubits to eastward to the eastern frontier, and marching with the 25,000 cubits westward to the western frontier, running parallel with the other portions and belonging to the prince. In the center will be consecrated portion and the sanctuary of the temple, thus apart from the property of the Levites and the property of the city which lieth inside the prince's portion. Everything between the borders of Judah and the borders of Benjamin is to belong to the prince. Here are the rest of the tribes. From the eastern frontier to the western frontier, Benjamin one portion, bordering Benjamin. From the eastern frontier from the western frontier, Simeon one portion, bordering Simeon. From the eastern frontier to the western frontier, Issachar one portion, bordering Issachar. From the eastern frontier to the western frontier, Zebulun one portion, bordering Zebulun. From the eastern frontier to the western frontier, Gad one portion. The southern border of Gad will be formed by the southern frontier, running through Tamar to the waters of Meribah and Kadesh, to the Wadi and Great Sea. Wadi is spelled capital W-A-D-I in this book. This is how you are to divide the land for the tribes of Israel. And these are to be their portions. It is the Lord who speaks. The gates of Jerusalem. Here are the ways out of the city. On the north side, being 4,105 cubits long, 3 gates. The gate of Reuben, the gate of Judah, the gate of Levi. The gates of the city are to be named after the tribes of Israel. On the east side, being 4,500 cubits long, 3 gates. The gates of Joseph, the gates of Benjamin, and the gates of Dan. On the south side, being 4,500 cubits long, 3 gates. The gates of Simeon, the gates of Issachar, and the gate of Zebulun. On the west side, being 4,500 cubits long, 3 gates of Gad, the gate of Asher, the gate of Natalia. The total perimeter, 18,000 cubits. The name of the city in the future is to be The Lord is There. That was Ezekiel 48. Okay. We have Feast of the Harvest of First Fruits. You're supposed to put it in a basket. That's Deuteronomy 26. Hold on. Should have it here. Yeah, okay. Deuteronomy 26 is called the ritual prescriptions, the first fruits. When you come to the land, the Lord your God is giving you for an inheritance. When you have taken possession of it and are living in it, you must set aside the first fruits of all the produce of the soil raised by you in the land the Lord is giving you. You must put them in a pannier and go to the place where the Lord your God chooses to give his name a home. You must go to the priest then in the office and say to him, today I declare to the Lord my God that I have come to the land the Lord swore to our fathers that he would give us. And the priest shall take the pannier from your hand and lay it before the altar of the Lord your God. Then in the sight of the Lord your God you must make this pronouncement. My father was a wandering Aramean. He went down to Egypt to find refuge there, few in numbers, but there he became a great nation, mighty and strong, and ill-treated us. The Egyptians ill-treated us. They gave us no peace. They inflicted harsh slavery on us. But we called on the Lord, God of our fathers. The Lord heard our voice, saw our misery, our toil, our oppression. The Lord brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm with great terror, signs and wonders. He brought us here, gave us this land, a land where milk and honey flow. Here then I bring the first fruits of the produce of the soil to you. Lord, have given me. You must lay them before the Lord your God and bow down in the sight of the Lord your God. Then you are to feast on all the good things the Lord has given you, you and your household, with you and the Levite and the stranger who lives among you. In the third year, the tithing year, when you have finished reckoning the tithe of all your produce and have given it to the Levite, the stranger, the orphan, the widow, and if they have eaten it in your towns and had their fill, you are to say in the sight of the Lord your God that I have cleared my house of all that was consecrated. Yes, I have given it to the Levite, the stranger, the orphan, the widow, in accordance with all the commandments you laid on me, not going beyond your commandments, not forgetting them. I have not eaten any bread of mourning. I have consumed nothing unclean. I have offered nothing to the dead. Please help the living. I have obeyed the voice of the Lord my God. I have done all as you have commanded me. Look down from the dwelling place of your holiness from heaven and bless your people Israel and the soil you have given us as you swore to our fathers, a land where milk and honey flow. Okay, hold on. We got not too many for this holiday, but there is one more good one. Oh, how about this? Exodus 23:19 and Exodus 34:26 say the exact same thing. And it's the first of the first fruits. The first of the first fruits of the land thou shalt bring into the house of the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not boil a kid. Okay. How about 1 Chronicles 31 is called, as soon as the commandment came abroad, the children of Israel brought in abundance the first fruits of corn, wine, oil, and honey, and of all the increase of the field. And the tithe of all things they brought in abundantly. Leviticus 2. Leviticus 2:12 says, as for the oblation of first fruits, you shall offer them to the Lord. They shall not be burnt on the altar for a sweet savor. So don't burn up the fruit. Okay, so Leviticus 2 is actually called the oblation. If anyone offers the Lord an oblation, his offering is to consist of wheaten flour, on which he is to pour wine and incense, and he shall bring it to the sons of Aaron the priests. He is to take a handful of wheaten flour and oil and all the incense, and the priest shall burn it on the altar as a memorial, a burnt offering whose fragrance will appease the Lord. The remainder of the oblation is to revert to Aaron and his sons, a most holy portion of the burnt offerings of the Lord. When you are going to offer an oblation of dough baked in the oven, wheaten flour is to be prepared either in the form of unleavened cakes mixed with oil or in the form of unleavened wafers spread with oil. And if your offering is an oblation cooked on the griddle, the wheaten flour mixed with oil is to contain no leavening. You must break it in pieces and pour oil over it. Is an oblation. If your offering is an oblation cooked in the pan, the wheaten flour is to be prepared in oil. You must bring to the Lord the oblation that has been thus prepared, presenting it to the priest, who is to bring it to the altar. The priest shall take the memorial from the oblation and burn it on the altar as a burnt offering whose fragrance will appease the Lord. The remainder of the oblation will revert to Aaron and his sons, a most holy portion of the Lord's burnt offering. None of the oblations that you offer to the Lord is to be prepared with leaven. You must never burn leaven or honey as a burnt offering for the Lord. You may offer them up to the Lord as an offering of the first fruits, but they must not go up as a appeasing fragrance on the altar. You must salt every oblation that you offer, and you must never fail to put on your oblation the salt of the covenant, with your God. To every offering, you are to join an offering of salt to the Lord your God. If you offer the Lord an oblation of first fruits, you must offer roasted corn or bread made from ground corn. You are to add oil to it and put incense on it. It is an oblation, and the priest is to burn the memorial part of the bread and oil together with all the incense as a burnt offering for the Lord.